Hi, my name is Basil, and I run a small social enterprise called Being Bridges, where we focus on multicultural and interfaith dialogue.
Hi, my name is Alia, and I am the editor-in-chief of Muslim.sg.
Hi, I'm Leonard, president of HashPeace. We are Youth for Youth-led NGO that promotes sustainable social harmony in Singapore.
Hi everyone, I'm Fahima and I'm the Vice President of Roses of Peace. We are a youth-led organisation that aims to build bridges across diverse communities in Singapore.
Hi, I'm Angeline. I'm an administrator for the Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of Singapore.
Hi, I'm Simran and I'm a life sciences professional and also an active member of the Sikh community.
What is one moment someone unintentionally disrespected your belief or culture, and how did you handle it?
Growing up as a young Sikh boy, we wear our turbans. When you're younger, you tend to be a little bit more curious, but also maybe unfiltered. And then you start making fun of it. So I remember going back to my dad and he said, you might think this to be something of ridicule, but in the future, it will become your crown and your superpower. I never understood it at that point in time. Very recently, I was at a global conference and somebody came up to me and said that, hey, you don't have the problem of trying to find people that you have met before. People know you because they will come back and know who you are because of the way you look. Sometimes it is something that you deal with when you're younger, but it's about how do you be able to use that as an opportunity to also share that this is what my culture is about, and more importantly, be able to, in your own skin, be proud of what you are.
Every now and then I come across people who actually say, we are too different to be friends, or our thinking is too different to solve the problem. I think the only reason we have to interact with each other is difference. If everybody was exactly the same, there's no reason to even talk to each other because you already know what I know what you know, no need to talk. The only reason talking exists, human interaction exists, is that one person is slightly different or very different from another person. But difference facilitates conversation.
So I think when I first hear this question, this is what comes to my mind when I first started working. Just imagine I just freshly graduated and then you are in a big MNC. It was a senior manager's birthday and they wanted to go to a sushi place which wasn't halal. Right, so imagine, I was so new in the organization. I was like, why not you guys go ahead first? Let me grab something else. But they thought they were being very inclusive. Said, no lah, you can just get something vegetarian in the restaurant. And then I was just like, okay. So I went and then I triple checked with the waiter. And then the salad came and then I was like, this does not feel vegetarian. So true enough, there were some bacon bits inside.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I was like, I think what upset me more was the fact that when I genuinely just wanted to, eat halal food as much as possible, I was seen as more rigid or not being flexible enough to adapt into that situation. While yes, my colleagues were genuinely trying to be inclusive by giving me a place on the table, sometimes what truly matters is not just having that person on the table, but making sure that the person has a voice and that voice is also heard and respected.
So this is an acquaintance who I work very closely with. I would consider friends. She had questions about my faith and I answered as a matter of fact. And she responded that, we are taught to be wary of people like you. It was just something that was memorable. As someone from a majority race and someone that doesn't stand out in any way, if I'm someone from a minority race or faith, it does affect how people feel, whether they belong, in Singapore.
I was with my mom and my sister at a supermarket. So my mom, she's very chatty. So to make conversation when we were paying, auntie at the counter was like, oh, what are your kids doing now? So my mom said, Shahira, which is who's my older sister, she is in NUS doing dentistry. And Alia, she is in SMU, she's doing law. And then there was this pause and then you could see the auntie's eyes and then there's she's mind blown. And then her next question was, oh, is your husband mixed? But my mom was so chill. She was just like, oh yeah, my husband is half Chinese. And she's like, oh, no wonder. Like, no wonder your children are so smart. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I realized years later that sometimes things like this happen unintentionally. They don't realize there is something that it could be racist or hurtful. And that even me as a person, I have so many things to like unlearn, relearn and learn. I tried to sort of like, when people say things like that after that incident, to have more empathy and try to like explain, if you're close enough, explain to the person in a way that makes sense and they can understand.
We try and take a step back, reflecting about the whole situation before we do anything that we might regret, then ask ourselves, actually, where is this person coming from? Is it coming from a place of ignorance? Is it coming from a place of ill intent? Right? When we have these questions answered, then we know how we can better respond and react.
When is it okay or even good to ask questions about race or religion?
This was the first thought that I had. When is it not okay? Like, I'm curious to know when is it not okay. So then, like, when I reflected about it, I realized it really depends on the intent of the question. If the intent is to learn and to understand, then it's always okay.
To me, it's almost always okay to ask questions about race and religion, but it's how you ask those questions and where you're coming from. Especially now, like, I don't want people to be getting all the information online
all the time, because I feel like it's always a good thing to be curious about people, to be curious about people's different cultures, different races.
If you want to be able to really get to the crux of deeper understanding of each other, you have to question, to come to a place where you can comprehend where that person is coming from. Ultimately, I mean, we all come with similar values across all faiths.
I think it might not just relate to race and religion, but when is it okay to ask any question? It's when you're willing to listen to the answers, right? When you love that other person enough to try to understand them, to consider their point of views, willing to put in the effort to try to understand them.
I used to think, maybe all the time would be great, but I think over the years what I've come to learn, especially interacting with young Singaporeans as well, is as much as I wish we could ask whatever questions we want out of genuine interest all the time, it really depends on the context, who you're talking to. I can come from a genuine place of curiosity, but if the person I'm interacting with is not is not as ready as me, I think that really influences the conversation a lot. So that's why I put how more than when. So I think the how truly matters, how I engage, what is the kind of questions I ask. I think for myself, it's really about not just knowing when to ask the question, but also when to step back if necessary. And to me, I may be thinking that I'm genuine, but sometimes it's also hard to measure when am I stepping into someone's boundary, right? So sometimes a genuine curiosity may be intrusive for some individuals. So I think knowing when to step back is also important for us, and the how truly matters, I think. Yep.
What's one everyday situation in Singapore where you have seen people from different races or religions naturally respect each other's boundaries?
One everyday situation that I see, I guess is in my daily life, which is living with your neighbors. Where I live, like on the same floor, on the left is a Chinese family, and then on the right is a Filipino family, and then we have this like really cool like open door policy where our kids seriously go to each other's houses, and all three of us are okay with this. And what I realized is that you naturally will have boundaries, like you, out of respect, I think, for each other. So like I've heard like when my children are over at my Chinese neighbor's house, I will hear the mom saying like, "Hey, don't worry, all the food here is halal. Like I already made sure it's halal certified." So I realized that naturally you kind of like out of love and respect for each other, sort of honor each other's boundaries. Yeah.
So I wrote sharing spaces with different religious groups because we always promote this idea in Singapore that we have in Chinatown, the one street down, you have the 3 different places of worship. I want to go even further than that. That's the touristy stuff. If you go into the neighborhoods, I do recall that there are, mosques and temples literally side by side with each other. And this extends to sharing spaces, right? Sometimes, there's a common parking complex between 2 places of worship, can be between a mosque and a church, and one opens up the space to the other. For example, on Friday, when the mosque receives a lot of visitors, congregants for Friday prayers, then the car park space is open for them. And then on maybe for Sunday, for church service, the car park is open. Same car park, different group of people can use the different space, can use the same space. So to me, I think sharing spaces with different religious groups and the fact that we can all come together and just accept the religious diversity in Singapore, even share a common resource like land, right? It's so precious in Singapore that we can share this very precious commodity with each other. I think that is the everyday.
So thinking about it more deeply, I realized that it's when those boundaries are understood or explained, clarified, negotiated even, then people are more likely to respect them. And if the boundaries are imposed, that's when the disrespect probably happens.
I go back to the days of Malaysia Cup football, and I can't remember a time where I could hear a roar in all HDB blocks all at one in unison when Singapore scored. We were all united, looking and supporting for Singapore. It really didn't matter what your background was, whether you were rich or poor, whether you were of any religion. As long as you supported Singapore, you were Singaporean, you felt that you belonged. And I think is one time, at least I've seen where Singapore really rallied together.
The very simple fact, me remembering my friend is vegetarian on a certain day or a certain period of the month, like my Hindu friends was maybe, commemorating Navaratri and stuff like that, or my Buddhist friend who doesn't take beef, or even my peers remembering that I need to eat halal food, right? So I think these are really simple gestures and bonding over food. I think nothing kind of beats that. Or even when I attend events and to know that my dietary preferences have been taken care of, right? I think that just shows a lot of mindfulness from the people. And these are things I think we sometimes take for granted in Singapore until you travel overseas and you realize, hey, this is not a norm that people care for your dietary preferences. And in Singapore, we've made it so normal that sometimes we take it for granted, right? So I think this is the everyday situation that I see naturally Singaporeans lean towards. Just it comes to them almost automatically, at least most of the times.
In the schools, actually, that's where the children, they really don't have these boundaries. They respect each other, and they are all worried about PSLE. So that's something that unites them. So no matter what race or what religion, there are certain aspirations that they look up to and they try to work towards.
I would say that the parents are more worried
they are the
about
ones united.
PSLE. I just had two kids who just went through PSLE. I've never been so active on any chat group, but I was so active on the PSLE chat group.
Trying to keep up.
Correct, exactly. Trying to keep up. What do we need to do? What kind of revisions? And you're right.
And that transcends everything.
That transcends all
Class,
boundaries.
Race, religion.
Yeah, definitely.